gonna hide. Popping till it's swelling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Popping till it's swelling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Popping till it's swelling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah, and this is your Sunday Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A-Shakur. Also on X at DGoddess27. And as per usual, if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. All right. So hello, Anita Harrell, G from the land. All right. Nessie X is here. Edward. Okay. Let's get into it. Most hated bronze flat power God. All right. The Inkwell is here. All right. Queen Amona Huey. Shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators for putting in work. I see you, Danny Joe. Leonard De Yuda is here. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. I see you, Troy. All right. Troy said, I'm here without notifications. Let's go. Okay, you know they'll be sketchy with them. Okay, so listen. Now, remember, hey, Vince, I am from the UK. Erlene is here. Now, listen, I see you, Desmond. Listen, guys, I told you all yesterday. Remember, you heard it here first. I told you all that the father, Jeff Metcalf, is not the problem, that the mother is. Because the mother, as I told you, I played it back for you. We listened to it more than once. She said she was angry. And of course, we can't discount her for being angry. It's her son. We can't tell her how to feel about it. But I believe that the mother is feeding into all of this racial division that's being stoked by the flames of this entire situation. But you know who isn't doing that? The father. Okay, the father went in on Jake Lang, this wanton supremacist who decided to hold a rally. Now, for those of you who don't know who this man is, he's pretty much a wanton supremacist, like I said, with very strong conservative views. And he founded this organization called PWA, which stands for Protect White Americans. Now, this man held a rally that was supposed to be in honor of Austin Metcalf. And it was about protecting white Americans from nefarious black people like y'all. Okay, that's what it was all about. and it was spewing hate. And it's just, acting like Black people are so problematic that we're out here attacking them and oppressing them. I find it all very interesting. And it's just real crazy to me that anybody who doesn't look like us could even think that we're the ones that are, so violent and oppressive. Okay, Gwendolyn said, Queen, you told us his mother was the Karen. Yes, absolutely. Because when the father said that he was able to forgive, that let you know that he had some, or let me know that he had some amount of humanity, because that's something that we often don't hear when it's a situation like this, even if the person was defending themselves or whatever. And you all know Cal Rittenhouse, as I call him, Cal Rottenhouse, had something to say. I saw a post that he posted on social media. I actually saw it on X, where he said something about, he said, so they think that what Carmelo Anthony did was self-defense, but not what I did. Like Cal Rittenhouse, how can you dare compare yourself to Carmelo Anthony, who was minding his own Black business when he was, confronted with hostility and he was defending himself? Cal Rittenhouse went out looking for trouble. If I recall, even before he killed those two people in Kenosha, he'd already talked about having a gun when he saw some people that he thought were stealing, were shoplifting, said that he wished he had his AR-15. So that's what he wants to do to people that he thinks are stealing. Didn't know for a fact. So it's safe to assume that the night that he killed those two people, that he was also looking for trouble. That's exactly what he was doing. And I love how they changed the story and the narrative, because as I recall, when Cal Rittenhouse first got caught, they said that his mother drove him across state lines and got him that gun. Then all of a sudden it became his friend, trying to protect the mother from getting locked up. That's what it was, in my opinion. But anyway, he's the last one who needs to be talking. So anyway, let's get into the details. I'm going to play the audio from where Jeff Metcalf is telling this wanton supremacist to keep his son's name from being attached to any of the stuff that he's doing. He doesn't condone it. But before we get into the audio, let's talk about this, because Jeff Metcalf actually said that when he interrupted the press conference the other day for Carmelo Anthony's family, he said that he wanted to pray with them. See, I told you all I didn't think that man came there to start any trouble, and that maybe he was just hoping they would give him an apology or he could speak to them. Austin Metcalf's dad reveals that he was disrespected after being thrown out of Carmelo Anthony's press conference. He'd hoped to pray with accused killer's family. So the father of slain teen Austin Metcalf, hold on. Do you all hear static? Do you all hear static? Because I'm hearing static on my end. It's probably just my earphones. Is the audio clear? One's in the chat if the audio is clear. One's in the chat if the audio is clear. It's clear? Okay, thanks. Thank you then. Okay, great. I guess it's just me that's hearing it in my ear. It's so annoying. Okay. All right, so with that I've been said, Leon said, you called the queen. Thank you, beloved. You see, I have a very good gift of discernment. And I'm able to notice a lot of things. Okay, so now let's continue. Okay, so the father of slain teen Austin Metcalf said he hoped that he could pray with the family of his son's alleged killer, but wound up being disrespected when he showed up earlier this week at a press conference organized by the accused slayer's kin and got thrown out. Carmelo Anthony's family held the press conference event Thursday in Dallas, a few days after the 17-year-old was allowed to leave jail on house arrest. But the proceedings came to a halt when Austin's father, Jeff Metcalf, showed up out of the blue, only to be escorted out by a pack of Dallas cops. He thought it could have been handled differently. He said, they could have pulled me up to the front and said, we are sorry, our condolences. The only thing I would have said was, okay, can we pray together and show the world we're united? See, I told y'all, I knew that's what that man wanted. I knew that's what that man wanted. As soon as I realized that he said he'd forgiven Carmelo, I knew that he just was hoping that they would give him condolences, an apology. And the man could have prayed to them that way. And I told you all that I wished something like that could have happened, because that could have stopped some of the hateful ridiculousness that's going on by these devils out here. Because how do they look sitting up here being so hateful when the father is praying with them? That would have been awesome. But anyway, That didn't happen. And so here we are. And now they're going in on the father. And remember when I reported to you all on yesterday that the family's house had been swatted? We'll come to find out it was the father's house. And so these racist devils are going in on him because he's not on their agenda and he wants to keep the peace. But let's continue. So anyway, says that I wanted to pray with them and show the world that we were united. After the impromptu appearance, both Metcalf and his ex-wife had police called to their house in swatting pranks. He also resigned from his real estate job Saturday, fearing for his colleagues and clients' safety. Now, but Metcalf said that he meant no ill will by showing up at the event. He simply wanted to represent Austin in response to people disparaging him online, painting the late teen as a violent bully. Metcalf said he'd hoped for an apology from the Anthonys for the actions of their son, who allegedly stabbed Austin in the heart during a fight over a seat at a high school track meet in Frisco, Texas. Now, what he did not expect was to be escorted out of the building by Dallas police. At the conference, Carmelo's mother, Kayla Hayes, spoke through tears about what she called lies and false accusations that had been spread about us, especially over the past week, claiming that they have put my family in danger. Okay, so, that's very sad. I feel bad. I wish they had gotten to talk and maybe an apology could have been given. But now let's talk about the swatting. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Slain teen Austin Metcalf's home swatted hours after the tense press conference showdown. So Jed Metcalf, the father of slain Texas teen track star Austin Metcalf, told Fox News Digital his home was swatted Thursday night. He said, I can confirm that last night, after officers responded to a gunshot call in the 8,000 block of Hickory Street involving the Metcalf family, which turned out to be a swatting. It happened a few hours after an incendiary press conference hosted by the spokesperson or spokesman for the family of Metcalf's alleged killer, Carmelo Anthony. Anthony's charged with murdering Metcalf. Okay, we already know the rest. Okay, so I'm going to go to this this report because I want to hear what this news reporter is saying on Fox News. I can only imagine he's talking trash. I don't know what he's saying. I haven't listened to it, but I'm curious as to what he's saying. So I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
We are waiting an update from Tallahassee police after 6 people were hurt in a shooting on the Florida State University campus. That briefing is scheduled for 4:30 Eastern time. We're going to bring that to you once it begins.
Hold on, beloveds. I didn't mean to click off of that. Hold on, my bad. Let me go right back to it. Hold on, here we go. Let me back up just a little bit.
Campus. That briefing is scheduled for 4:30 Eastern time. We're going to bring that to you once it begins. But now we step to another major story. The family of the teen accused of murdering Austin Metcalf, addressing the public for the first time today, alongside activist group the Next Generation Action Network at a press conference in Texas. Austin's father, Jeff Metcalf, showed up before the event started, before he was then escorted away by police, a demand from the president of that group, who called the presence of Austin Metcalf's father, quote, disrespectful to the accused killer, Carmelo Anthony's father.
All I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay? What he has failed into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism.
Appalling. I need not be measured to describe accurately what you just watched. Disgraceful. To turn the victim's family of a murder into the perpetrator, to turn the accused perpetrator into a victim, to describe a dead boy's father as disgraceful and showing his character, to show up and be present at a press conference for the accused killer is nothing short of absolute insanity. Appalling and disgraceful. Joining me now, the Woodson Center founder, Bob Woodson. Bob, this was a boy whose father, Jeff Metcalf, had already forgiven the accused murderer. That was one of his first public statements the day of the killing, and he forgave that accused killer, and this is how they respond to his presence today at their press conference. Your thoughts, Bob?
It's just moral and spiritual perversion at work here. My sympathies goes out to the Metcalf family, but this is taking race grievance to a whole nother level. And what we're doing is we're taking the violent actions of this young killer and turning him into some kind of folk hero where thousands of dollars are being raised to defend him. Merchandise are being sold.
Do you all hear this? Do you all hear this old fool? He's talking about they're raising money for this killer. Did he say that about Kyle Rittenhouse? I bet you his old behind didn't. And then he said merchandise is being sold. But did he say anything, I wonder, when George Zimmerman was signing people's Skittles, okay, and getting paid to do so? Do y'all hear this? I find it all so interesting, but let's keep listening because he is clearly out of his mind.
It is a perversion. If this kid, if Metcalf was black, we wouldn't hear about it. In my work, I have interviewed a mother who lost all 4 of her sons to black-on-black murder before the age of 30. There are 13-year-old black girls being convicted of murder. So we have a real crisis, but it is not a racial crisis. It is a moral and spiritual crisis that is, and we're in this spiral.
He sounds so damn crazy. Now he's sitting here talking about we got 13 and 14-year-old black girls being arrested. Yeah, and white ones too. Do I need to pull up some footage? There was a 10-year-old little white girl who killed a 9-month-old baby, stomped it to death. What's he talking about? There's kids that kill of all races. Let's not just try to pick on the black folk. And he's black himself. This is one of them old spiritual Negroes who I guarantee you had the same ideology as John Lewis. Getting into good trouble and getting beaten and not lifting a finger to fight back and defend yourself. So how dare Carmelo protect and defend himself? He should have just sat there and taken it like this old fool would back in the 60s. But let's keep listening.
Spiral downward and is consuming this nation. And so, and it won't be solved with therapists. The only thing that can solve it is a moral and spiritual presence. I also just left a zip code that your viewers should know, 39148. It's where for years 100 kids live in residence at the Pineywood School. They are from the worst conditions in America, but not a single act of violence in years in this community, in this zip code. We need to be studying success to find out what happens when kids are equipped with moral and spiritual, moral mentors and character coaches. And that's the challenge that we're facing. But this is an outrage, and everybody should stand up against this and stand for it. It's an outrage for these kids. What message are we sending them?
And it's not just turning the accused killer into a hero, it's turning the victim's family into the villain. For what it's worth, that man you just saw on screen is a proposed preacher, Bob. He's the head of the Next Generation Action Network. That was founded in 2014. It's a social justice group. It lobbies for social change, equality. It focuses in education, advocacy, LGBTQIA, human and civil rights violations. It is a social justice-based organization, and this man, Dominique Alexander, a proposed preacher, who have now turned this entire situation into something more than a murder trial, more than facts. Now they have made this into some societal debate.
I really do, but I think fair-minded and really just people need to stand up, particularly Black America. We should not allow this perversion of the civil rights legacy to prevail in this situation. And so we have 3,500 grassroots leaders in 39 states. They're Black, they're white, and they understand that we're in a moral and spiritual free fall. And we should not teach children that infamy is synonymous with influence. It is the wrong message that we're sending, that we need to change. I can take you to places where there is peace. That's because there's a presence of character and there's a presence of faith. We don't have a race problem, we have a grace problem.
Bob Woodson, always a voice of wisdom, always good.
He needs to get his old, I don't even want to go in on him because he's an elder, but let me say this. You see, this is all by design and very intentional. They get these old Negro spiritual type Negroes to come out there and chastise the rest of us. You see, here's the thing. They love Black people being divided. They don't ever want us to show any unity amongst ourselves. And the last thing they want is for us to stand behind one of our own who protected and defended their own life by taking one of theirs. Okay, so this is to make us feel guilty and shame and make us feel like this is just perverse for us to even be condoning it, donating money to this young man. He's a thug and he took that man's life, and we ought to know better and we should not be promoting this. So go back, Black people, to just turning the other cheek like Dr. King taught you. Why would you want to fight back? There's no need to do that. That's the mentality they want us to have and to keep. So they get him to come out there, this pork chop pastor, that's what he sounded like, getting up there saying all this ignorance, as if Carmelo did something so wrong. Nobody's turning him into a hero, but everybody is agreeing that he had every right to protect and defend himself. I just want y'all to pay attention. But so now with that all being said, let's go to the audio or the video of where Jeff Metcalf, the father of Austin, went in on Jeff Lang, the wanton supremacist. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to put on a little bit of music so I don't have any copyright issues.
Fight. Hey, Jeff, it's Jake Lang here.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
Jeff, first of all, my entire heart rests in your hands. I would be in my position, not even as somebody even knew your son, but somebody that shares the same understanding. I grew up as a 17-year-old young white man too, and I grew up in fear of my life around Black people because they were killing and robbing people around me all the time. And I don't understand, as I was a father, you could sit idly by and not condemn the culture that killed your son. There is an epidemic problem in this country, and your voice could be one of the loudest voices in this country, but you've chosen to recoil out of fear and continue the suppression. Why will you not stand with me and with the rest of the people? We're not calling for racial divide. We're not calling for hatred. We're saying 350,000 attacks on white people by Black people a year in this country is wrong. Why can't you stand that and say with that? Maybe you can. would you be willing to stand by me in a press conference or in an individual interview and talk about this issue that is larger than Austin at this point? God rest the beautiful young man's soul that would have been one of our strongest voices if he was still alive today.
Are you done?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, my turn to speak. You are part of the problem, my friend. You're trying to create more race divide than bridging the gap. I do not condone anything you do. You do not have any.
That's called white guilt.
No, let it talk. Of my son. Let me finish. I give you your time. You take my son's face off your website. I am not associated with you.
You're creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness, sir. You are creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness.
In history, this is the shift where white people will no longer.
So did you all hear that? Did you all hear that? Now he's sitting there telling him that he's creating more Austin Metcalfs with his weakness. He's calling the man weak because that man is not with the divisiveness and the racism. Now Shake the Table says, the father seems manipulative to me, in my opinion. What did the father do? Now I really want to hear this, Shake the Table. What has the father done that makes you think that he's manipulative? Could you please tell us what the father has done that would make you think that he's manipulative? Because I haven't seen him do anything other than show up at the meeting for the press conference, left quietly and cordially after they asked him to, gave interviews talking about his son. So what part of him being manipulative? Because I would like to know. I would honestly like to know what he did that was manipulative. Because the only ones, in my opinion, being manipulative are these hateful, divisive people who are trying to turn this into who are trying to set this up so it can turn into some sort of race war. That's what it sounds like to me. Marie said, Jeff Metcalf said from the beginning it wasn't about race, but I think he wanted to keep things civil so that his dirt wouldn't come out, but it did. Well, if that were the case, Marie, I really don't think that anybody, when their son dies, will be thinking about that. That sounds obtuse to me. When your son just died, the last thing you would likely be thinking about is your dirt coming out. That probably was the farthest thing from the man's mind at the end of the day. Now, that's just my opinion. I don't see how anybody in their right mind would be worried about that. He probably had no idea that people would even start digging to look into his background after he's lost his son. So that absolutely makes no sense. And if that were the case, why is he still doing the same thing he already was doing? Because that came out days ago. So why would he still be trying to stop the foolishness and telling this wanton supremacist not to associate his son's name with the racism that he has going on? Laverne says some folks play dumb until it happens to them. Bye, girl. This is absolutely true. Absolutely true. I have to agree. D-Mape said, what does the father's past have to do with his son's death? Exactly, nothing. And like I even told you all when I talked about his father's past, I told you all it don't even really matter to me. I said the only reason I'm doing it is because that's what they do to us. And then I brought up, what's his name, Freddie Gray. When they couldn't find dirt on him, they went and dug up that his father used to be on drugs. Or with Trayvon Martin, they couldn't find any real dirt on him. He'd never been arrested or anything. So they went and dug up the fact that he got suspended from school once for smoking weed in the bathroom. So that's actually why I shared it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't have anything to do with it. And I doubt very seriously that he was even thinking about that. Okay. If the man, and here's the thing. Do you think even if it did come out, why would he sit up there and say it's not about race? Just so it doesn't come out. That's not going to stop anything. So yeah, that don't make any sense to me at the end of the day. Teresa says, I believe that the father knew his son was wrong, but still wants Carmelo held accountable. However, Carmelo has a right to defend himself. Well, of course, I said that yesterday, that I believe that he knew that his son might have been a bully, that he likely did know that his son was in the wrong. Absolutely. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. Leonard says, I bet that's who swatted his house, that federal race instigator reporter. Yeah, you know, I was thinking that too. I was thinking that too, because there's people like Jake Lang who are upset because this man is not out there leading the charge, because he's not out there with a bullhorn spewing hate and division, because he's trying to be peaceful about it. That's why they're mad and calling the man weak. Yeah, I absolutely know. I knew it was them in the first place, people who look like him that swatted his house, because Black people don't really do stuff like that. Okay, there's some things that we just don't participate in. Right. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to go to this other video of Jake Lang talking, and I'm going to put an overlay on here. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
They reached out to Jeff?
They did not.
They didn't even reach out?
Have not spoken to him.
Incredible.
Under no circumstances.
Wow. Okay.
So when I do this interview, that's what I'm going to ask him
Why?
here in a minute. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Great.
have you spoke with the father? And since I had, the father says he wants to be a part of this. Under no circumstances, he wants his kid labeled with what's happening here. So since they're going to give me an interview, I'm going to go do it.
Wonderful. We're all very excited for this.
The reason I punch a dad.
Shake the Table says, okay, so this is your response to my question about why you think the father's manipulative, I guess. Going before the cameras the day his son was killed, trying to control the narrative away from reports that slurs were called. I never heard any reports about slurs being called, and I've reported on this extensively. I never heard not one report about slurs being called. Okay, I don't know where that came from. Anyone else heard about slurs being called? Please put it in the chat. Even when Quanell X spoke about the incident and said that 2 students who were there told him exactly what happened, they didn't say anything about slurs being called. But anyway, I digress. Also, going to the press conference before the parents was intimidating. Well, like he just said, he went there to pray with them and hoping that they would apologize. So, like I said, that doesn't prove manipulation to me, nor does it even look like it. And nobody said anything about no damn slurs. You're just making stuff up to try to justify what you just said. Please pay attention.
Dagger into his heart like
Correct,
that.
100%.
There's no reason.
100%. See, this is my organization. I see it. And I travel across the country to reduce violence in Black communities.
Thank you. I stand with you, sir.
On a regular basis. But today, I'm here on behalf of the father, Jeff Metcalf.
Okay.
And what he's asking you is to not use his son's image or likeness in what you're doing. You can do what you do, but that's not what he wants his son tied to.
Okay.
Out of respect for that family.
Now, I would ask Jeff Metcalf if he would be bold enough to act like a father of a deceased young man that was murdered, instead of being somebody suppressed, worried that he's going to spark the next race riots or some type of thing. He needs to stand for righteousness, not for the consequences of righteous actions always need to be taken seriously.
Now, do you all hear this idiot? Do you all hear this idiot? Byron B said, Queen, you are something else. Thank you, beloved. But do you all hear this man? Now, he's sitting up here saying that he needs to do the righteous thing. He is doing the righteous thing. He absolutely is doing the righteous thing. Wanting to pray with the people, being respectful, even when they asked him to leave. If he came there to be intimidating or start mess or to do any type of provocation, he would have done so. But he left quietly and peaceful. Okay, this man right here is upset, like I said, because he wants this man to be a whole hateful, wanton supremacist like him and go out there pushing narratives. Okay, this is all so ridiculous. Shake the Table said, I'm not making things up. No need to. I'm sharing what others have reported. Until the investigation is done, none of us know. I'm not trying to sway one way or the other. Well, here's the thing. We do know. You can't say none of us know, because we do know. We've seen the police report. We've heard from witnesses. We've heard from activists. We've seen the press conferences. So we do know. Okay? And there's video footage that we will see eventually, if I hope. But with that all being said, you said you're talking about what others have reported. Well, others have obviously lied to stoke racial tensions. Okay, because at the end of the day, none of the ballot reports, not even the police report, which had what Carmelo told the officer, none of that was mentioned. Carmelo never said they called him racial slurs, and neither did anyone else. If you heard somebody reporting that, they're just lying for clicks and views. Okay, and you should have a sense enough to know that. But I digress.
He needs to be righteous before he is fearful. He is acting out of fear, not out of righteousness. He should have been on the top of the bus today. He should have been standing shoulder to shoulder with me.
Are you a father?
No, I am not.
I'm a father.
Amen.
I'm a father. As a father, there is this thing called grief. So let me tell you what's going on in his house. He's getting swatted. His only other son.
Who is swatting him?
Well,
Which community?
No, we don't know the community, but it's happening. That's on the police to find. Secondly, he has a son who's a twin, who his son died in his arms. So that means he needs to navigate that. Then his son, his only son, is getting death threats. So as a father, his hands is full. So the last thing he wants to be tied to is having this complex of race. So yes, violence is bad. Young black men are getting killed every day by young black men across this country.
Yes, but I'm not a member of that community. I'm a member of my community. My community is being victimized by the community of violent black. But
here's the problem.
Now, I like his nerve. He's sitting there talking about his community is being victimized. Isn't it always something when they play the victim, but then we'll say that we're playing the victim? Who's victimizing their community? Like, sit down somewhere.
But here's the problem. When you stand up in the name of God, there's one body.
Amen.
And if you're not a part of that body,
I could read statistics. So I'm also a pragmatic human being. So I understand when there's a problem, it needs to be addressed head on. If you tiptoe around a problem, that's how you get to the end result.
So your biggest concern is the loss of white life by black people?
No, that's
not
your
concern.
I have
concern. The concern is a repeating pattern. It doesn't stop. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. And we just can't ignore it any longer. It is. If it stops, we're good.
So let me answer that question. Do you believe more white people are killed by white people or by black people?
Listen, by strangers, it's 2 to 1. Every single.
I want you all to pay attention. Did you hear him just tell that lie? Did y'all hear him just tell that damn lie? He said by strangers, it's 2 to 1. Sir, no, it isn't. Most white people are killed by other white people. Okay, because they love to talk about black on black crime. Most black people are killed by other black people, and the same goes for them, because we all know by now that crime is about proximity. And I was literally just having this conversation with somebody on last night. Okay, because at the end of the day, people tend to kill people who they are around. Most of us live around people who look like us, and so do they. And also, most people are killed by people they know. People are killed by strangers, yes, but most people are murdered by people they know. That's why when the police conduct a homicide investigation, the first people they question, other than witnesses at the scene, if there are any, will be the family, friends, and co-workers. Because they usually know that it's 9 times out of 10 somebody who knew the person. He sounds ridiculous. Now, Terry Lacey says, I believe if Carmelo was hands down guilty, the video would be released with their nefarious arsonists. I know, beloved, I absolutely agree. I said that the other day. I absolutely agree. If that video showed or proved that Carmelo was in the wrong, we would have already seen it. By the fact that they're saying the cops said anybody releasing the video footage is going to go to jail, further makes me feel that it shows that he was absolutely defending himself. Pretty Wing said, black people are not running around unaliving white people. You're more likely to be victimized by your own community. Exactly. And he knows that. He knows that. Okay. Truth Brown said the same thing. He act like black people are running around unaliving white people. Exactly. Like, dude, get out of here. I mean, just loving to play the victim card. Okay. Don't even try it.
Race and domestic issues because we live amongst each other and uncles kill uncles and drunk at barbecues and stuff like that. It's always the same amount.
So your response is this.
Let me respond. Please.
Did y'all hear what he just said, y'all? He said uncles kill uncles at drunken barbecues and stuff. Acting like we're just a bunch of animals, like a pack of wolves, or we just don't know how to act. I'm so, appalled at his stupidity. So they don't get into fights at their cookouts or barbecues. They don't get into it, honey. Okay, their uncles and brothers don't get into it. Of course they do. Please sit down somewhere. Okay?
Please let me respond.
Well, it's your response that
I'm
Mr. Metcalf needs to get on your bus and tell people
if
that
I was
his
him, I
son
would
was
do
killed,
it.
but he's not you. So what I'm saying
I'm
is,
telling you, I'm somebody that stands for what I believe in, and I don't cower when it's time to stand.
If your desire
It's because
is
of
to
fear.
represent,
My desire
It's
is that
because he's
another
afraid.
Austin Metcalf does not happen next week.
Like,
And if I was his father, I would stand
But you're not.
righteously to say,
But you're
yes,
not.
He's
but I'm
not,
a
but
man.
we all have common
so
sense.
you're
We
speaking
know.
for his father.
Hold on. We know.
No, I'm
not
speaking for white men in
I'm
this
not
country.
going to
Are you a
say
father?
white people
Hold on.
in
Hold
this
on.
country.
Are you a father?
Hold on one
Are
second.
you a father?
Hold on one second.
Are you a father?
I'm not, but listen.
Okay,
this
so when I
know
talk
I'm
to
not done talking yet.
non-fathers
Hold on.
who are not dealing with grief, you've talked for an hour. So if you want to address, I can give you after I give this message. The bottom line is this. You have a father that's out of respect asking you not to put his son's face in a place. How do you say you're going to represent people when you can't respect the will of the people?
Let me respond, guys. There's too much peanut gallery.
That's not what his father said. His father did not say that.
Can we please let me respond?
So you believe-
Let me respond.
No,
Hey,
you believe-
I'm having a conversation between you and I. Listen to this.
Yeah.
Austin Metcalf is no longer Austin Metcalf. He is a symbol. He is a symbol of young white people being predatorized and victimized every single day, living in fear. He is living in fear. Our people in this country are living in fear. Austin Metcalf is no longer just his son.
Jeff, hold on. Jeff, do me one favor. Because there seems to be an issue that you're okay with Austin's name being plastered with this particular movement. Now, I've already addressed that. So now I want you to say one more time that you agree with your son's name and face being attached to this movement?
Hey, Jeff Metcalf, this is Jake Lang here. I wanted to talk to you, not be led into a question. This is a legal argument. This is called leading.
Do you agree with
Jeff,
your son?
Can I have a conversation with you?
No, because you could have called him before that. You could have called him out of
I've been
respect.
reaching out. I'm one of the biggest figures in America.
Jeff,
Nobody's ever
I've given you a message. I've given you your message, and here's the
all
response.
family members, everybody I can find.
I've given you your message, and here's the response.
You've not given my
this
message.
guy
You've
said
given your message.
What he said was this. What he said was this. He said that you, as a father, should be on the bus with him, delivering the message that he's delivering. Unfortunately, he's not a father, and the gentleman with is not a father. Maybe they don't understand what loss is. But at the end of the day, I've given your message, and they thought that it wasn't your message.
Let me have 1 minute of my message
Call
to Jeff
him.
Metcalf.
Call him.
Okay, what's his number?
He's on the phone right now.
So Jeff, do you? Huh?
This is not a good faith discussion.
Okay, hold on. Here's Jeff. Hold on. So Jeff, go ahead. Go ahead, Jake.
Hey, Jeff, it's Jake Lang here. Jeff, first of all, my entire heart rests in your hands. I would be in my position, not even as somebody even knew your son, but somebody that shares the same understanding. I grew up as a 17-year-old young white man too, and I grew up in fear of my life around black people because they were killing and robbing people around me all the time. And I don't understand, as I was a father, you could sit idly by and not condemn the culture that killed your son. There is an epidemic problem in this country, and your voice could be one of the loudest voices in this country, but you have chosen to recoil out of fear and continue the suppression. Why will you not stand with me and with the rest of the people? We're not calling for racial divide. We're not calling for hatred. We're saying 350,000 attacks on white people by black people a year in this country is wrong. Why can't you stand that and say with that? Maybe you can. Would you be willing to stand by me in a press conference or in an individual interview and talk about this issue that is larger than Austin at this point? God rest the beautiful young man's soul that would have been one of our strongest voices if he was still alive today. Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, my turn to speak. You are part of the fucking problem, my friend. You're trying to create more race divide than bridging the gap. I do not condone anything you do. You do not have any fucking...
That's called white guilt.
No, let it talk.
My son, let me finish. I give you your time. You take my son's face off your website. I am not associated with you.
You're creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness, sir. You are creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness.
Here, you are being weak. I gotta be honest with you about that, sir.
You're being weak. Condemn your son's killer and the culture that caused it.
Hey, Jeff.
That's the problem. You've been submitted.
Hold on, Jeff.
You've been submitted.
I'll handle it from here.
You've been submitted, sir.
You're not going to make
If
us
we
back
were all,
down.
if we were all of your nature,
Guys, listen.
You're
let me
not
say
going to
this.
save
What are
us.
we
Not
doing?
yet.
Do you know who you're talking to? You don't, do you?
I'm talking to a black man.
You don't. No, you're not.
Okay.
You sit here, you talk about Trump.
But I am. You're not
Google my name and Trump. No. When you do that, my name is.
I agree with black males winning,
Google that.
but they're not winning right now.
You're doing,
they're becoming
what
degenerates.
you're doing
and murdering white
you're
people.
not helping America. You're no more patriotic than I am. No way.
Silent is
Where
not
were you
helping.
on January
You've
6th?
been silent. It's only gotten worse.
Where were you on January 6th?
You've been silent. It's only gotten worse.
Where were you? Did you stand for your country
So you
when they
think that
stole our
made you
vote?
patriot because you showed up there? Does that make you a patriot?
Joe
What's
Biden,
your
is,
solution?
Joe Biden is a
All you're doing is
pedophile.
condemning us. What's your
My
solution?
solution is to help people where they're weak. So we have an issue in young black males' lives across the country.
It's not
It doesn't
say that
matter.
to Jeff
Nothing's
Metcalf.
changed. Say that to Jeff Metcalf.
We talk about it, man.
Say it.
At the end of the day, the man is asking. So let me ask you this: you got a father who's grieving, and your response is he's weak.
My father is celebrating my strength right now.
You have no idea. You'll never win the Senate. And what I'll do, I'll come to Florida and run for Senate and run as a Republican, and I'll kick your butt.
No, you lose, bro.
You need 2 years of presidency in Florida.
Because this behavior is why we're in the situation where we are.
No.
We get these. Is that what it is? Okay. Well, at the end of the day, he's asked you what to do and what not to do.
Listen,
you have a right to
he's
do it
no
or not
longer
do it.
You can say not talk about Austin Metcalf, but we're going to
You don't
continue
know
this
Austin.
movement.
I love somebody.
You
enough
love
to
the
be
thought
strong
of using Austin
No.
for T-shirts.
He got his
propaganda,
arm around
and to
him,
get
you
out here and
guys.
talk about
You want to
who
shut
are.
down a
I'm
white
not
man
raising
right
money.
now. That's what
I'll
you're
shut
trying to
you
do.
down, and
I'm not
you're not
raising
shutting
money.
me
I'm
down.
not raising money like
Because
Carmelo
I got
Anthony.
family.
I'm not
gonna
raising money like
put down
Carmelo
anymore.
Anthony.
No, bro, you
finances
stop.
at
You
a
came here to try to shut him down.
No, I
That's
came
what
here to
this
give him
is.
a message from a father.
And listen,
But I realized
Nah,
that's
bro.
not his deal.
Let's be
message-
honest. You're a black man. You're trying to
No.
shut him down. 'cause
I'm
what
an
he's
American first.
No, man. You don't
I'm an
think that.
American. No,
I am.
I'm
You're
an
not.
American.
I am.
That's
You're
what I
not.
am.
That's why I'm here. You
No,
want
is
to
that it?
silence him.
No.
You want to
I'm an
shame him.
American that
I've seen it
says
happen
this
over and
foolishness
over.
here
It's not
doesn't work.
foolishness.
That's what
You've
it is.
done nothing. You have not worked on anything. It's not changed nothing. We're here to try something different to stop this.
So what's
bro.
the difference?
The difference is we're actually coming out here with courage.
Saying what?
And you just want to silence people.
No.
Saying that white people can't be put down
Look,
anymore.
I
White people
listened to
cannot be
you.
silenced
I listened
anymore
to you
like
for
this.
2 hours.
Yeah.
It wasn't substantive.
And you were raging. It
you
was.
had more people
You were
paying attention
raging.
to the
What's
foolishness.
substantive then? What's
One dead, the 17.
Yeah.
Another one who's in jail.
He's a murderer.
And you
He's
had
not
how
in
often
jail.
it
He's
happens
at home
all the
eating
time.
Cheetos.
Who's been
He's
charged?
home eating Cheetos.
We tried your way. It happens again and again and again and again and
At the end
again.
of
It
the day,
doesn't stop.
Hold on. At the other day is this. You probably bought that hat for me. Those flags, I probably sold you those flags.
You're not a trumper,
So you
brother.
have no-
You're not a trumper. I understand what being a Make America Great Again patriot means. And it means addressing
What does it mean?
It means addressing
What does
issues
it mean?
without being a pussyfoot around it. Don't tap dance around the issues. Address it. Black people are killing white people in this country, and it needs to stop.
Yeah.
We are being predatorized in our own country. We are being predatorized in our own country, and it's a weakness from Jeff Metcalf and people like you that is continuing the culture. Condemn Carmelo Anthony, condemn. Why are you confronting me? What
I'm
if
not
call Jeff
confronting. I told
Metcalf
you
and
the
say
truth,
there's a
no.
young black man with a Carmelo Anthony jersey
just gonna
on
show you something.
parading
I
his
just- no,
son's
listen.
death?
I
When
just
I'm
Googled-
standing
hold on.
strong
I
against
just
the
Googled
murderer.
my name in Trump. Since you say
I'm
I'm
standing
not
strong
no,
against
listen,
the murderer.
I want
Who
you to
cares
learn.
about
Oh, I know.
President Trump pardoned
I got
you.
you. It doesn't matter, guys.
Oh, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
No,
President Trump,
no,
but
he
if black
probably
people
shouldn't have got
are
pardoned. He probably
You're
should
not
have gave you a
President
pardon.
Trump.
No, I'm a man.
You're a
That you're not a man. You're not Trump
nobody.
supporter then. If you're not part of
So the problem
you're
is
not
this.
getting due
No.
process. You're
No.
not getting him part
Here's
of
the
their
problem
trial.
right here.
Dude, he's a waste.
You all follow a man off the cliff.
No.
I'm a man. I will call anybody
Donald
wrong.
Trump did not make
Yeah,
this
you won't
stand.
call him wrong.
Who won't?
You just want to
When Trump
silence
is
him.
wrong, I'll call
I
Trump
made
wrong.
Donald
Racial
Trump, but
tribalism.
Donald
I see
Trump
you right
is
through this.
Like seriously.
Was it wrong for me to tell that woman to be quiet?
No, it was wrong for her to spray you with that mace.
All right, so me standing up for what I believe
No, I'm good.
and getting sprayed for it.
And that she's wrong, so hopefully you press charges and she's
So
prosecuted.
was Donald Trump wrong for pardoning me in the January 6th?
I don't know your role, but if you're wrong,
I had the most violent charges of
You're
all the
just
January
mad that we're
6th.
calling out
Yes.
black people for
Okay,
doing bad
so
things.
you don't
That's why
agree
you're
with being
wrong,
a
man.
1776
That's why you're
patriot and
mad.
fighting for your
Because you're calling out
country?
black people for
Would you
doing wrong.
believe the founding fathers are right to
the
go
founding fathers
against
were right
tyranny?
on some things and they were wrong on some
I'm
things.
talking about tyranny. Were they right against standing against tyranny?
No,
Are we right
your-
against
your-
standing
your
against black
rationale is
violence? It
tyranny.
is tyranny. We are living in tyranny. It is the same tyranny.
Concerns about
it is the same tyranny.
If your concerns about black violence
and racism against white people,
why are you not talking about what's going on in Philadelphia? Why are you not talking about
listen? I'm talking about black violence against white Americans.
Yes, sir. I want to talk about cities. Detroit is one of the most unlivable cities in America. Up until the 1950s, Detroit was called the Paris of the West. Why is that? Why is that no longer the case? Because it's unlivable due to black crime.
Dude, I'm slow. I just now recognize it.
Every minute you say that's not an issue. You
the community that I represent. I also represent other communities. Republic anyway.
We're trying to shut them down. Yes, you are.
You are trying to run him off. I see it. You are. No matter you put a cowboy on and get him to say that. You are still a member of your community.
Let me ask you something.
You're mad. No, hold on. You're mad because he's calling out black people for doing wrong. Yes,
I don't care, son.
You care. That's why you're here right now. That's why you came here.
Black people.
We're not stupid. We see what you're doing.
One question.
We see what you're doing.
Should Carmelo Anthony?
I know you don't have white family members like I do. But I'm tired of it.
You'd be surprised.
Oh, really?
Carmelo,
I'm thinking
should Carmelo not have any injuries on my indictment? Why was I left?
Raised for Carmelo Anthony because he killed a white.
So I have two problems.
What's your issue?
I have two problems.
Yeah.
So no, hold on.
If Carmelo Anthony was your neighbor, would you allow your children to go play with him right now? Carmelo's answer, neighbor. He's home on bond. Would you send your children over to go play Xbox with him right now?
I don't know the kid.
Exactly, because he doesn't.
You don't know? Oh, wow. Okay.
Hold on.
I know why you were here today.
Why?
You're just mad that he's pulling out the problem of black people killing white people. Yes, that's exactly what I think. That's
You're
why I think you came here to start
How about the black males murdering? Are you against that?
100%.
I think that. I think
why
Austin
Carmelo
was
Anthony? Why is he
black
getting the
kid.
opportunity to kill the next person that says, "Hey, can you get maybe move over a couple inches"?
He's a threat to the white paper boy that's going to jump off the paper tomorrow morning. Is it danger to the community? If I killed your son, would you walk down the streets right now?
You kind of agree with me?
I kind of agree with you on
Let
the
me
bond.
say this.
The issue is hold on. I kind of agree with you on the bond. But no, hold on.
Murderers
He don't
getting
want you to
done.
be a man. He wants you to
That's
follow
not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
No,
What I'm saying is that you're being silent about the issue of black crime. You're saying, oh, what about Detroit? What about St. Louis? Those cities are unlivable. Those cities are unlivable, not because of Indians.
So you just said I'm being silent. I'll tell you what I'm doing since you don't know me. Since you don't know me.
You're running cover for
So
black
since
crime.
you don't know me, Google my name,
I
Bruce
don't care.
Carter, black on black crime.
I can Google his name.
I'm holding a meeting this Tuesday where I've called on the mayor, the city manager, Dallas County, and DISD.
Do something real and say, get that man back in jail. If you're going to hold a
He
meeting.
doesn't need to be in jail, son.
Okay, so then put your kids over. Let's schedule a play date. Your father, let's schedule a play date. He's not a danger to the community.
So here's the problem.
Let's schedule a play date.
My name is Bruce Carter.
Let's schedule a play date.
So here's the
Carmelo
problem.
Anthony and little baby Bruce.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Anthony, little baby
I gotta
Bruce.
go.
These people are something else. Okay, do you all see how ignorant that whole thing was? I don't know why that man wasted his breath talking to that clown. That man is ridiculously stupid. And the black guy sitting there with his arm all around his shoulder, condoning all of the lies that he was telling. It's just ridiculous. Okay, TC Dan said that was ghetto. It damn sure was. Okay. It was absolutely ghetto. And he's sitting there talking trash about black people, honey. He sounded so ridiculous. But meanwhile, acting like black people are so violent, but he was arrested for being one of the January 6th rioters and was in prison. Okay, Trump pardoned him. Oh, so crazy, honey. I absolutely cannot with these people. Now, mind you, next I'm going to go to the spokesperson for Carmelo Anthony's family. He actually was on the Roland Martin show, and he was interviewed by Roland Martin. So I'm going to go to that. Okay, and I'm going to put an overlay because, honey, Roland Martin does not like the Queen. In fact, Roland doesn't like anybody that's considered to be part of the new black news media. He has all of us blocked. So, honey, I definitely don't want any smoke from Roland about using his video. So let me just get my overlay up here real quick, honey, to avoid any drama.
Support this family and to ensure that this family's rights are not violated. And the things that are legal matters are handled by the lawyers.
What's crazy here is, so check this out. Here's a tweet right here. This person said, I did a Twitter search for Carmelo Anthony till up to 2 days ago after the incident. I could only find one post from a black account defending him, but there are countless posts from whites making it a race issue. Whites racialize everything, then cry when black people take sides. And then this is a scroll of tweets that this person actually pulled. And when this story first happened, they called Carmelo Anthony a thug. It was all sorts of names. They were saying that Aaron Metcalf was this football star. He was this bright young man, talented, high grade point average, all of that. But Carmelo Anthony is not a thug. Carmelo Anthony is a high grade point average student as well. And so Anthony was being treated as a savage, and Metcalf was being treated as the golden, a perfect student, the golden child, if you will.
Yes. One of the things, Roland, that we need to point out in this situation is that most of the people raised their consciousness because of what Hunter Metcalf said in the local media, where he literally admitted over the weekend, days after, the same day, I believe it was the next day, where he stated that his brother was told by Carmelo to not touch him, and literally admitted that he did it anyway. And so no one did that interview for Hunter Metcalf. He did it himself. And so this hate, this race, this bigotry wasn't introduced by us, right? It was introduced by them, right? And I'm going to say this, Roland. I don't know if you even remember this, because I was on the panel for the DPD police chief, and I believe I had this guy coming after me, and I used this quote, and I said it on your show, and it was quoted in other publications, even the New York Times. We will never ask the oppressor for permission to liberate our people. I don't know if you remember me.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember.
We will never ask that. And I will say that 10 years later. Don't get mad when you come after ours, and then we respond and support ours, right? And so I'm not here to apologize or basically give an excuse onto why we are supporting Carmelo Anthony. We are supporting him because if you can support your white baby, we can support our black kid, right? And so these laws are not just created for some, they're created for all, right? And so just like he should have his right to be able to claim self-defense, and what I want them to understand is Carmelo didn't come out days later and claim self-defense. He claimed self-defense the moments the police touched him, the moments the police even arrested him and detained him. He didn't come days later. He has always, and it's in the affidavit. But what these people have done is create it as a racial thing. We see that even with this judge. This judge is literally has been a Republican for over 3 decades. I personally don't agree with her political views or whatever it may be. She will probably never be at a Next Generation Action Network protest or anything we do, right? But what they show Black America is, regardless of what ballot box you check, you are still Black in America. And that's what they're showing to the people. And that's what people are rising up again. And I told somebody, this Trump administration is going to either unite us or divide us, right? And I'm just happy to see Black America and our allies standing in this rainbow coalition of justice to say, no, this is not right. And we ain't asking y'all for permission to help our baby.
This here is a post from the very conservative Rupert Murdoch-owned New York Post. They also own the Wall Street Journal. They also own Fox News. They also own, for folks need to understand, they also own Fox Soul, and they also own Tubi, okay? So this is what the New York Post. Carmelo Anthony renting $900,000 home in gated community with family, bought new car after release on bond in Austin Metcalf murder case report. They also have been stating that that Carmelo Anthony's family have been withdrawing money from a fundraising effort. It's called Give, Send, Go. In fact, the folks at Give, Send, Go, the folks at Give, Send, Go literally had to come out and explain why they were not removing the Anthony fundraiser from their platform. People were threatening that platform by saying you should not be allowing them to raise money. This right here, y'all, give me a second. This is actually the New York Post tweet right here. But the folks even at TMZ reported no money was actually withdrawn from this account.
Correct. TMZ actually called Give, Send, Go and actually asked them, have the family have access to this fund? And they literally responded and said no. And what was interesting about it is around noon yesterday, they called them and got that confirmation. Well, Give, Send, Go sent an email to the family at about 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, notifying that they could actually start the process of withdrawing the funds, which everybody know, even withdrawing, it takes a few days to even hit your account. When the family put their information in to be the beneficiary of the account, because the account was set up by someone else, that took days for verification, and especially when the money is for the benefit of a minor. It took days for verification, and these falsehoods was only created to discourage people from giving money to the platform. So they start these lies and all of these things that they could have easily verified by just picking up the phone, calling Give, Send, Go. They would answer the phone, they would respond to emails, and they let them know. And so TMZ called directly and they responded. And so they could have done that just like anybody else, but no, they just started spreading out reports, all of these things. They started talking about the family paying for private security. The security, if you see the video, the security is my security staff. The director of security for NGAN is in that video escorting Carmelo Anthony out, as well as me and another individual of the NGAN staff, right? We have our own security apparatus, and we have made it our business to ensure the safety of this family.
The Daily Caller, they put this tweet here out where they pulled from the news conference of Carmelo's mother. And again, I need people to understand the framing. Control room, y'all get the clip ready. The way this was framed, and I keep telling people, this is why Black-owned media matters. This is why social media matters, why you need to have credible Black voices. The framing of, and look, we've been trying to get the Anthony family on to talk about this as well, because the framing from day one has been Black thug kills perfect white football star. That was the framing from day one. Folk took that and they ran with the photo, not of Carmelo in a suit, not Carmelo in his athletic attire, not any of that. Everything was about, let's show thugs. Let's show. So this is a photo here. This is a photo here of Carmelo in suit, tie, okay, school photo. That's what was shown. But the framing, when we saw all of these stories, when we saw everything come out, and I remember from day one, it was, oh, no, we're going to show something different. And this is what it was right here. This is what it was, the mugshot. And so folks took that and they ran with it. Oh, thug, single parent home, daddy not around. At the news conference, this is what his mom says.
Like 3 years ago, my family moved to North Texas, searching for a better life. Like so many other families, we wanted to give our children the future we did not have. My husband worked hard every single day to provide for us, to make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom, I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way. In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Carmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. I will address in my husband's previous.
Okay, I'm going to skip past this in a minute because we've heard all of this. Measure Man, thank you for your contributions to the channel, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. And you also said that, hold on, where's that other comment you just put up there? You said there was a website for Carmelo where they had t-shirts and they were sent a cease and desist because the family didn't create the merch for the website. Well, I figured that there's a lot of people that are going to use this as an opportunity to try to make money. They don't care anything about Carmelo. They are not concerned. They're just trying to fatten their pockets. There's going to be a lot of people doing that, unfortunately, just like the fake GoFundMe that his family never put up. I'm glad that that was taken down. So again, thanks for your contributions, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. Now I'm going to fast forward. And this pastor, I really think that he should not be doing all these interviews. I don't know how many he's done, but after the press conference, he should have just kept quiet, if you ask me. That's just my opinion. He's just doing a whole lot of talking, and I'm not sure if it's a clout chase or not. And there are some things about his past that have come out to the surface. So I really just wish he would sit down somewhere. Just my thoughts.
Here in this office, as people watching that press conference and hearing that mother, it wasn't a dry eye in the building. And especially for people who know Kayla Hayes and know this quiet woman and soul, and that just came from the bottom of her heart, you know, and just the pain, the fear, I've been there to see the pain, the fear of these children and the things that they have had to experience.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I think we've heard enough from him. Okay, at this point, he needs to just be silent. That's my opinion. Okay, so with that all being said, let's talk about Kaysen Allison. Okay, the murder trial of Kaysen Allison, because the stepbrother spoke, and he said, because remember how they were trying to say that Kaysen was like he was scared and he didn't want to fight. And here's Kaysen Allison. For those of you who forgot the story, or maybe you weren't tuned in, that's him at the age of 18 when he murdered 18-year-old Jose Joe Ramirez when they got into a fight at school in Texas, stabbed him multiple times. Similar to the story of Carmelo and Austin, only Carmelo was actually fighting in self-defense, or actually it was self-defense. Kaysen says it was self-defense, but this fight was already planned. They had both said they were going to fight that day. And here is Kaysen now. He's 2 years older. Okay, so anyway, now here's what's reported. Kaysen Allison murder trial. Stepbrother says accused killer didn't seem afraid before stabbing Texas teen multiple times in school bathroom. So as Crime Online previously reported, prosecutors said that Allison, who was then 18, stabbed Jose Luis Joe Ramirez Jr., who was also 18, multiple times during a fight involving several students on May 18th of 2022 at Belton High School in Belton. Police arrested Allison shortly after the incident and found a folding knife at his home. It was covered in what appeared to be blood. He is now charged with murder. Ramirez's stepbrother, Josh Rios, testified Wednesday that the pair had planned to fight in a different location following an altercation over a girl at an after prom party. Now, according to Rios, Allison was behaving inappropriately with a friend's date, prompting Ramirez to step in. During cross-examination Thursday, the defense questioned Rios, his testimony that Allison and Ramirez got into an altercation in the school parking lot before the stabbing. Rios claimed that Ramirez informed him about a fight with Allison in the parking lot that morning. So, however, the footage failed to show any evidence of that altercation. Now, KWTX reports that the defense also questioned Rios on his brother's arrest. Rios testified that he was aware Ramirez had been arrested and that Ramirez had gotten into a fight with a 17-year-old. The defense then questioned Rios about the events in the bathroom, asking, "Can you assert that Kaysen had no reason to be afraid?" So he says, "I do not believe he was afraid. He could have left the bathroom when he saw us." That's what he says. Rios acknowledged that he didn't attempt to break up the fight once it started and admitted that he took a swing at Allison's friend who had accompanied him in the bathroom. Now, on Tuesday, former Belton High School students Tito Shamel and Angel Mario testified. They were two of the 6 people, including Allison and Ramirez, who went inside the restroom when the fight began. Shamel testified that he had a close relationship with Ramirez and saw the confrontation as it unfolded in the restroom. He told the court that he recorded part of the incident on his phone. Jurors viewed the video footage in court. Now, Shamel said the video showed Ramirez throwing a punch at Allison. He said the footage then showed Allison pulling out a knife before a loud scream is heard and the video shuts off. Rena Barber, a friend of Allison and acquaintance of Ramirez, also testified. She said she attempted to defuse the situation by calming Ramirez shortly before the fight began. Barber said Ramirez and his friend had a reputation for getting into fights, adding that Ramirez often wanted his fights filmed. Another witness, however, identified as Ramirez's friend, Joshua Grimes, testified Wednesday that Ramirez wasn't known to fight. Dr. Grant Hendon from the Dallas County Forensics Science Office testified Thursday that Ramirez had 4 stab wounds following the fight. The knife damaged Ramirez's left lung, his heart, and carotid arteries. He also had stab wounds on his buttocks and left arm. Allison has pleaded not guilty and has been on house arrest since 2022. An additional charge was filed against him a few days after the stabbing, after he allegedly assaulted a family member. Are y'all listening? If convicted, he could face life behind bars. This dude is evil. Are y'all listening to that? Did y'all hear this? All these stab wounds, and I want you all to pay attention because he knew what the hell he was doing with that knife. How do you stab somebody in their heart, their lung, and their carotid arteries? He knew exactly what he was doing. Y'all think he was just swinging wildly with that knife? No, he knew what he was doing. Okay, lungs, heart, and carotid arteries. Who knows how to do that? He probably looked that stuff up online, honey. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. And he did all of that. Then he lied and said that 5 of them jumped him. Now, I knew that was a lie when he told it. Okay, I knew that was a lie when he told it. Now, they said Ramirez swung on him and then he pulled out the knife. Here's the thing. Now, one could say that Ramirez started it, but these two had already planned to fight earlier that day. They just didn't plan to fight in the restroom. So that's why they said earlier that previously they said that Ramirez was shocked. The victim, Ramirez, they said that he appeared to look shocked when he walked into the restroom and saw Kaysen in there because he wasn't expecting to bump into him. Even though they had already planned to fight, they were going to fight later on that day. So with that all being said, after Ramirez swung on him, he instantly pulled out a knife. Yeah, that's not self-defense. Okay, that's not self-defense. He pulled out that knife and killed him because he knew he was going to get his behind kicked. He was a coward. That's all that is. And then stabbed him all of those times. Stabbed him all of those times. I want y'all to pay attention. And then, how do you know he has a propensity towards violence? Well, because they said right after that, he had an altercation with his own family member while he's out on house arrest. They should have put him back in jail. Why is he still out? Are y'all listening to this? But they feel like Carmelo Anthony should not have been allowed to get out on bond. Okay? He was out on house arrest since 2022. An additional charge was filed against him a few days after the stabbing, after he allegedly assaulted a family member. How was his bail not revoked? How was his bail not revoked? I want y'all to pay attention to the shenanigans. His bail was not revoked. He was still allowed to stay out on bail after attacking someone else, after you literally just took someone's life. Y'all hear this? The double standard. Why aren't they mad about this? Why aren't they talking about this all over the internet? Yeah, they got nothing to say. Okay, they got nothing to say. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Anyway, with that all being said, beloveds, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Okay, exactly. Shake the table. You already know why. Absolutely. That's right. Why? Right there. Okay, but they get so mad if anybody that looks like me dares to stand up for ourselves and fights back. Okay, all the whole shame. I just want y'all to pay attention. And like I told you all on yesterday, you know, Hunter Metcalf was involved in that incident too. He said it out of his own mouth. He should have been arrested at the scene as well, because that was a felony. Okay, that was a felony charge. And if you're involved in a felony where somebody, the commission of a felony where somebody loses their life, you're supposed to be charged too, whether you did it or not. Okay? That's how the law goes. At least that's how it's supposed to. But, you know, it doesn't always work in our favor. In fact, it rarely ever does. So anyway, with that all being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Everyone, please like, share, subscribe, double check to make sure that you're still subscribed, especially if you haven't been receiving your notifications. I love you all to life. I will see you all in the morning for your morning wake-up call. And I probably won't be back today, but you never know. So keep your notifications on. It might be some more breaking news or anything comes out. We don't know. So with that all been said, I love you all to life. And each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. And until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Hit him with that flavor. All in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me?